Hi, it's Christine Saxon. I'm happy to have you here. Today, I'm going to share with you one of my unique strategies that I created to help you paddle. So, introducing rituals and replacements. This concept is really quite simple and not new. There's a book I recommend at the bottom of this slide that really shifted my perspective significantly. I used to teach and preach time management. And it turns out, according to some high performance sports and business consultants, Jim Lohr and Tony Schwartz, back in 2003, their research proved and their application of it that managing energy is more powerful. It's the true source of our personal renewal. And whereas time is finite each day, energy can be rejuvenated in a very different way. According to Lauren Schwartz, the key is to develop rituals to fully engage with the challenges at hand and to then access what I call the power of the pause and periodically disengage, have that rest, walk away from what you're working on, close that laptop, and seek what they call renewal. According to this concept, which is part of the foundation around rituals and replacements, it's also this simple strategy that you can repeat and that is proven now by a lot of my coaching clients. It's wonderful hearing what it's doing for them. It can become automatic energy over time, and it's also grounded in things like neuroscience research and a lot more of the energy work that we're doing more recently. So consider this one of your 10-minute tools that is one you can hold in your pocket, one that you can try every day to add to your repertoire, add to your daily practice. Okay, so managing energy, not time, is what this is about. I'm going to show you a very simple model that you can use and tell you about my experience of it and some of my clients' experiences and help you fully engage with the things you've got going on and periodically disengage to seek that re-energizing, that renewal. And then over time, this positive new ritual will become automatic energy. Let's talk first about me. Isn't that fun? But it's talking about me and my foibles, in my vulnerability, in my humanness. I had a ritual that I knew about, I didn't like. I interrupted people and it confused them. I am caring, I'm a good listener, I'm really engaged with people, I'm a people person, more on an introverted one-to-one way, but I like to go deep. I like to understand what's going on for people and to be understood and to connect. And yet, I had a habit, a ritual. I would interrupt. When someone was telling me something, I would interrupt to say, "Oh, me too," or "I've experienced that," or "Let me tell you," or I would replace their words before they had a chance to say them because I just felt so connected. And this was not having the intention that I wanted it to. So I knew that it was a problem because people would talk over me like this while I was talking to continue their point. Or sometimes they would go, "Go ahead, go ahead, I can tell you of something you want to say." Or, "You interrupted me, go ahead, what's your thought? I'll hang on to mine." So it was right there in front of me, and I walked around for years going, "Oh no, cognitive dissonance. I interrupted again. Why do I do that? What's wrong with me? Why can't I stop? I care so much, I want to connect, but I keep doing this thing." So I realized then through my studies, through my own practice in personal understanding for myself, in personal development that I do in my coaching with others, I learned about this concept of replacing. And I needed to replace interrupting rather than walking around with our brain going, "You're bad, that was wrong," and potentially even having these things, these mindsets or behaviors that we have that are just ritualized. They're just automated now by our overly helpful brain. rather than walking around spiraling down potentially into shame and going, oh, I'm a bad person, why can't I stop this, and spending so much energy on it. Speaking of energy, right? This is why it's de-energizing. I played around with this and went, what could I do? What could I replace it with? And I came up with something, and I realized it needed to be as quick and memorable. So look at that, listening intently. Such a simple ritual to replace this automated ritual with. And then over time, build it as a healthy habit and a new ritual. I just needed to shift from interrupting to listening intently. I tried that. I have a process that I use that I'll share with you right now, and then I'll tell you how I took this model into a much deeper, more robust and effective tool that I'm sharing with you today. I looked into and read a lot about like Norman Doidge's book about the brain that changes itself, and some of the others who were writing about neuroplasticity and realizing that we can shift these neural pathways that we have. And what I chose out of what I was learning around mindsets and behavior changes is that sometimes we need to do something and state it. We need to make it part of our daily practice. So I practiced getting up every morning, going, I'm going to replace interrupting with listening intently. And by doing that in the morning and stating my intention, it got a little better. Okay? And it was going pretty well. And I always try things before I say, here's a Cristine Saxon tool or strategy. I then went, you know what? What about if I had like a string tied around my finger kind of concept, like something to remind me? So I got a ring. I went to a thrift store and I got a ring that I didn't like, that was uncomfortable because it hit against my band on that hand. I had my wedding band on my left hand and the ring was on my pinky. And I put it then, folks, on my bedside table and went, okay, good morning, brain, right? More intentional. Today I'm going to replace interrupting with listening intently. And as I said interrupting, I put the ring, the uncomfortable thing I was doing, right? The interrupting on my left pinky. And in my right hand, I held listening intently because that's my dominant hand. So I'm going to, good morning, brain. I'm going to replace interrupting, put that uncomfortable ring on there with listening intently. And I would hold my fist and feel power in that. I did that I would, for 3 or 4 days, do it each day and really notice, right? People are finding that I listen better. I've always been told I was a good listener. I thought I was. Well, I was actually hearing. I wasn't trying to get my story out there. So I did this with a lot with people and taught them this. I have had people have such success shifting from behaviors or mindsets that weren't serving them. And after a couple years, I realized, hold on, there's something else going on here because I do this work. Core of values awareness is the key to this next step of how I took this to a much more profound, effective, and quick way of shifting. So you can pause right now because you're on the paddle platform and you can go and do your core values if you haven't, or carry on, listen to the rest and go do your core values if you haven't, because here's what I realized. Unintentionally, I chose a replacement for that ritual that I wanted to grow into a new natural ritual that came from it was grounded in the same core value. I interrupted because I cared. I cared so much that I wanted to tell you how much I cared. I wanted to connect with you. I wanted to climb into your boat with you because I cared too much. I chose the replacement that also is a way of showing caring. Listening intently is a more effective way of showing caring than interrupting. So this is what sealed it and made this so much. By replacing this ritual with a new ritual, over time, it has become automatic. People who have known me for years, when they hear me tell this story, say, you did used to interrupt a lot, Cristine, and you don't. And thank you for now. So the key is to get up every morning, have something, whether it's that you're going to wear your watch on the wrong wrist, write something on your hand, something that's going to feel unnatural, and put it on in the morning and off in the evening because of what Laura and Schwartz talked about needing to rest, right? Approach these challenges, take them on, and give your brain time to rest. And then get up the next morning and say, good morning, brain, and put it on. Folks, I don't have to wear a comfortable ring anymore, which is lovely. And positive signs I learned to watch for to reinforce this are others getting to finish what they're saying and people not raising their volume and keeping talking. So I wish you healthy paddling. I invite you to look at what is an old mindset or behavior that has become a ritual at one of those neural pathway grooves that you'd like to shift into a healthier replacement that eventually, over time, will become your new, healthier ritual. If you're intrigued by this and want to talk, give me a call. We can set up a coaching call. And in the meantime, try it. See what happens. Healthy and happy paddling to you.